All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the African American Task Force on Education Subcommittee meeting. Tonight is our first meeting as we come together to discuss how our current state policies and procedures impact Black and Brown students and what we can do to move forward in a more equitable way. I am your chair, Representative Ray Moore, and our co-chair is Representative Medina Wilson Anti. I'm going to yield introductions next. I'm going to give everybody 30 to 60 seconds just to introduce yourself. A lot of us may not know one another, and for the next couple months, we will be working together to expand our education policy standards. So the first one I'm going to call on is when you are called, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. And also at this time, we will be taking roll as well. So the first one up will be Representative Medina Wilson Anti.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Using my microphone. I'm Representative Wilson Anton.
We can't hear you.
You can't?
No.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Representative Wilson Anton here from
Still can't hear you. I can.
Newark.
I must have perfected reading lips over this virtual world.
I can hear.
Yes.
I can hear.
Okay.
Here.
No.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Really quick. Medina Wilson Anton from Newark Bear area. Really excited to be working with all of you. And I recognize some faces even from when I was a student. And I'm looking forward to getting to know everyone else. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Next, we have Dr. Michael Harp, who is representing the NAACP.
Okay, hold on a second. I've messed up something here. Okay, hello everyone. This is Michael Harp, representing the MOT branch of the NAACP. Looking forward to working with all of you individuals as we look forward to provide equity and equality for our young people in regards to education for the state of Delaware. Thank you so much. Thank you, Representative Moore, and take care.
Thank you, Dr. Hart. Next, we have Dr. Taja McCove. And if I missed...
Hello, everyone. Taja Salonge. I'm Taja McCove. I'm the co-chair of the Equity and Diversity Committee at Polytech School District. I am also the lead special education teacher where I coordinate special education services, and I look forward to meeting and working with you all.
Thank you, Dr. McCove. Next up, we have Deputy Secretary Christine.
Aloyas, it's a tough one. I agree. Good evening, everyone. I'm Christine Aloyas, Deputy Secretary of the Department of Education. I feel very privileged to be here tonight with all of you to work together on this very important work.
Thank you, Deputy Secretary, and I apologize for that, but I wrote down how to phonetically pronounce it for next time. Thank you. Next up, we have Ms. Monique Martin.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monique Martin, and I serve Delaware stakeholders in the Office of Equity and Innovation at the Delaware Department of Education. It's a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to what this task force brings. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Ms. Virginia Fertucci.
Good evening, everybody. Please call me Ginny Fercucci. First of all, it's just an honor, an absolute pleasure to be here. I work at the Department of Ed, and I am on the CTE work group and work closely with teacher academies and culinary and hospitality pathways. As Monique and Christine noted, it is just an honor to be in this space, and I look forward to inspiring change and progress for the young people in our state and the communities that we serve.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dr. Shelley Rouser.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Shelley Rouse. Pleasure to be with this task force. Thank you for the invitation. Shelley Rouser. I'm at Delaware in the Education Department, where I serve as the chairperson for education programs. Looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Dr. Sharon Pepakai.
Good evening, everyone. Sharon at Appoquinimink School District, Assistant Superintendent Pre-K through 5. Looking forward to the work and working with all of you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jermaine Solomon.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jermaine Solomon. I am with Delaware Technical Community College in the Education Department. I am the instructional coordinator there, the Wilmington campus. I am happy to be here with you all this evening, and I am excited about the work that we will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Anderson.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Eric Anderson. I'm the head of school at Sussex Academy in Georgetown, Delaware. We are a K-12 charter school district. Prior to that, I actually am a Sussex County transplant. I grew up in Newcastle County, graduated from William Penn High School, and taught at Christiana High School in the Christina School District in the Charter School of Wilmington for 10 years, and was also a school administrator at Charter School of Wilmington. And I also served on the Christina School Board for a few years. So it's my pleasure to be here, and I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Krista Davis.
Representative Krista indicated that she wasn't going to be able to make tonight's meeting.
Noted. Thank you. Miss Stephanie Ingram.
Hello and good evening. I'm Stephanie Ingram. I am a 4th grade teacher with the Colonial School District, and I'm also the president of the Delaware State Education Association. I am happy and pleased to be here tonight and look forward to working with each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Dr. Danya Woods.
Good evening, everyone. Danielle Woods. I'm an administrator, assistant principal within the Red Clay School District, and I also have and continue to do work within the Writing Consortium and the Educator Work Group. I'm looking forward to working with all of you. Nice to meet you.
Jamie Bailey.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Jamie Bailey. I work at the University of Delaware in the Delaware Center for Teacher Education. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Clinical Studies, and I look forward on the work that we're about to embark on with this subcommittee. Thank you.
Lisa Footman.
Hi, my name is Leslie Footman. I'm a seasoned Christina School District elementary school teacher, and I look very much forward to the work that we're going to do together.
Amanda Holman.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Amanda Holman. I am a math teacher. I'm actually starting my first year with Capital School District. I'm transitioning from Cesar Rodney School District, where I served on the District Equity Committee, the district's EMAT committee, and I was the advisor for the Black Student Union. And I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gloria Ho.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Gloria Ho, and I'm a school social worker with Milton Elementary School in Cape Henlopen School District. I'm also the co-president of the School Social Workers Association of Delaware, a proud executive board member of the DSEA, and a co-chair of the Ethnic Minority Affairs Committee with the DSEA. On the national level, I'm a regional director for the Asian Pacific Islander Caucus with the NEA. And I'm so honored to be a part of this space and part of this journey to being equity-centered and culturally responsive in our work. So having come from the signing of HB 100 this morning to coming into this space has just made my heart full today. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Simone Philpotts.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Simone Philpotts. I am with the Metropolitan Wilmington Urban League, and I also have a seat on the full African American Task Force. Great to be here tonight.
Kyrie Bay. All right, Tiffany Savage. We can't hear you, I'm sorry. No.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Savage. I'm a teacher in the Laurel School District. I've worked there for 13 years, and I'm just excited to meet all of you, and I'm excited about the work that we will be doing together.
Thank you so much. We, as you just noted, a lot of us were bringing our different backgrounds in different parts of the state that has impacted our work just by day to the subcommittee. That's why I wanted to reach out and pull people who have been working in education policy in different aspects and have everybody to come to the table together so we can really start honing in on the missing pieces that we know are impacting our Black and Brown students every day here in the state of Delaware. Then next, we are going to go over the general overview of the subcommittee. So the first slide is about the why. Why did I ask for this subcommittee in education? I've been a teacher. I just started my 3rd year of teaching middle school on Monday. And I've been on the front lines of the education system and also been doing a lot of policy work over the last few years, which landed me to run for office. So this subcommittee will evaluate the needs of our education system and its impact on Black and Brown families and students. This is including but not limited to implementing cultural responsive teaching standards, addressing the school to prison pipeline and discipline approaches, increasing teacher diversity, and addressing SEL and poverty holistically in all K-12 public schools. So this will be including funding formula changes and weighted funding. So you will note that a couple of the topics have been switched out prior to the initial email that had went out. And that's because as a teacher, we look at data, right? And after we got a lot of how everybody rated what topics was important to them, I decided to implement SEL and poverty and the school to prison pipeline. Those two weighed, more people were ready to discuss those two topics than the other two topics that it was switched out for, which was, Caitlin, can you help me? I don't have those two. It was,
Yes.
Go ahead.
One was the impact of the COVID achievement gap and how to deal with that. And then the other one was higher education equity funding.
Yes. So it's not saying that we can't talk about those two other topics. Right now, we just want to prioritize the school to prison pipeline and SEL because as a teacher, you know, we don't ignore data. Data tells us something. So we will be just honing in a little more on those two topics. The next slide is how are we going to accomplish this work? So a lot of questions that I received in regards to establishing this subcommittee is, how is this different from Reading Consortium and WEAC? WEAC and Reading Consortium is pretty much Northern Newcastle County focused, but this subcommittee will be addressing systemic equality with a long-term plan and accountable timeline that will directly impact the entire state of Delaware. So we have representatives from the top of the state to the bottom of the state. And I did that to make sure that we are starting to address every area covered in the state of Delaware as it impacts our Black and Brown students. This is to also build political will, organize public support to move goals forward immediately. So I have, let me not jump ahead, I'll just continue to keep going. Also to develop a holistic campaign plan to achieve goals that include policy and legislation, coalition building, whipping votes, communication, press, and organizing public support. We all know that education, we need our parents, we need public support to do a lot of things, and education should be centered around those things. So these are aspects that I would like to incorporate in the subcommittee going forward. Also, lastly, to offer those who are mostly impacted and harmed by inequity a seat at the table and a centralized role in organizing leadership. That is all of you, all of the members of the subcommittee. We have a responsibility in the work that we do, and now it's time to put that responsibility to work. The next slide. Here so we have 4 topics that we will be reviewing. So that is implementing cultural responsive teaching standards, that is school to prison pipeline, increasing teacher diversity, and addressing SEL poverty holistically. If you send your email back rating your topics, most of you all picked your number ones. If you didn't, based upon the work that I know that you do, I kind of placed you in a topic group. So how this will work, we will have 4 meetings between now and January. In January, if we need more time, we can allocate more time to doing the work. But my goal is by January, by the time that we go back into the second half of the 51st General Assembly, that anything that we need legislation for, the legislation will be thoroughly written and ready to go for the legislative process. Why am I moving this fast? Because I know that each individual that is sitting on this subcommittee are already doing the work. I am ready to give your life's work some legs so it can go through the legislative process, and working together with other members to help that to come to fruition. So everybody is tasked into subtopic groups. So those who will be working on cultural responsive teaching standards will be Deputy Secretary Aloysius. Did I pronounce it right? Yes.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Miss Virginia Fercucci, Jermaine Solomon, Krista Davis, and Kyrie Bay. So those individuals, you all will be presenting at our next meeting in regards to how can we, the state of Delaware, adapt cultural responsive teaching standards. This is something that is a priority to me as a teacher and a legislator. My goal is to make sure that we come out with some type of legislation. Now, at the next meeting, that is not saying that anybody who are not a part of this working topic group can't weigh in, because you will be able to weigh in after they present if you want to add something additional to their recommendations. The second group is the school to prison pipeline. So that is Dr. Hart, Monique Martin, Dr. Woods, Jamie Bailey, and Tiffany Savage. The next group is increasing teacher diversity. As we talk about data, we know that data states that if a child that is Black or brown have a teacher that looks like them in front of them by the 3rd grade, they're most likely, their chances of going to college increases. So this is something that we really need to hone in. How do we get more diverse teachers into our classrooms? So that topic group is Dr. Rouser, Dr. Peppa Kai, Stephanie Ingram, and Leslie Footman. The last topic group, which is not limited to the last topic group, should I say, will be addressing SEL and poverty holistically. So that is Dr. McCove, Eric Anderson, Amanda Holman, Gloria Ho, and Simone Philpott. Any questions? All right, next slide, please. And if I'm going too fast, please let me know. I can slow down. All right, what do our timeline look like? So again, I have envisioned, not necessarily sometimes, theory and practice are two different things, which most of us know. But I project that I would like all recommendations from these topics, all of us need to vote on. So legislation, if needed, can be done by January of 2022. So today is our first meeting. Today, we won't go into depth about these topics. Today is just a general overview of what the expectations are as a member of the subcommittee and the work that we will be doing and how it will be done and what our goals are. We will meet every third Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So our next meeting is the third Thursday in September. On that meeting, the individuals a part of the cultural response to teaching standards will all be presenting what they think that we should do as a state to address this. So whether it's proposing legislation, whether it's drilling down in regulation, how do we address this topic as a state? Also, I will say that Caitlin will email out everyone a Google Doc so we can work, you can see your work live, and what individuals within your work, your topic group are thinking. So the Caitlin will take this information and we'll put it into a PowerPoint deck. So when it is your group, your topic group's day to present, we will make sure that your name is on your recommendation slide, and then you will present that information to the subcommittee. In October, we will be addressing SEL and poverty holistically. At November's meeting, we will be talking about the school to prison pipeline. And in December, we will be talking about increasing teacher diversity. And then at the January meeting, we will be voting on all the recommendations that we should be implementing going forward that addresses these topics. Any questions? I can't see raised hands, so Caitlin, let me know. All right, we're all on board. Okay. If there is a suggestion of a presenter you may have in mind that you would like to have speak with and present some of their things that are not, somebody that has been doing research on one of these topics, and you want them to come to address the subcommittee on any of these topics, please let us know. I will invite them as a presenter. And I have one person already lined up to speak in December to address teacher diversity. They have been doing work in Philadelphia and have been making strides to make sure that they are increasing teacher diversity there. So that is one example. So again, I invite you to reach out to us if you have a person or here to speak. Is that all right? The next slide is going to talk about the rules and the norms. So upon agreeing to be a part of this subcommittee, we all gave you the dates pre-planned. That is because there's only one absence allowed for a subcommittee. I do understand that emergencies come up. I'm an independent mother, I have a child, I'm a teacher, and we're still in COVID. So there's a lot of factors that take place. We ask that you really strive to make sure that the work is getting done. So this is the commitment to the work that we know that is very important and that is vital to moving forward in education equity here in Delaware. All agenda items must be submitted a week prior to the group's presentation. So when you're working on your work document, think of this like a group project in school, right? Because we all love collaboration efforts, right? So when you're planning on your document a week out from your presentation date, Caitlin will take whatever information that is inputted in that document and we'll start planning for the PowerPoint deck with the information that's already in there. So please make sure that all of your information is finalized that you want from you presented by a week out from your presentation date. Groups are expected to work outside of the monthly meeting as necessary to complete their recommendations by the meeting when they will be discussed. Groups should have developed an initial list of ideas to discuss for each topic. So the question is, again, that we should keep in the forefront of our mind as we work through this is how should the state address and support schools, students, and parents on this issue? Groups will select a leader who will be responsible for ensuring that that group completes its work by its deadline. So I will say this as an effort to make sure that we're all communicating with one another some way, somehow, because like I said, we all come from different parts of the state. And as we do this work, I think it's imperative to bring in different perspectives to make sure that we are addressing these issues holistically. Group leaders will be responsible for communicating updates or issues with the co-chairs and staff, which is Caitlin. Any questions? All right, next. All right. So do we have any questions before we go to public comment? Do we have any questions from the subcommittee members? Any statements, concerns? Now is the time. Something else that we should be looking at? How are we feeling? Let me get a temperature check. I am putting my teacher hat on.
Representative Moore, this is Dr. Michael Harp. Quick question for the committee members. Can we have the information for each committee, I guess the contact information for each committee, so we can, touch bases as we meet outside of our particular meeting time? I think that would be very advantageous to all of us because we need to make sure that we have a way of connecting with people who are on the actual committee.
So I didn't put that information in the deck just to see if someone was going to ask that question.
Oh my gracious, great minds think alike.
Yes, so after the meeting is over, Caitlin will do a collaborative email with everybody within the topic groups. So everyone can share their information that way, and you can have go back and forth with each other's numbers if you need to call on somebody, or just communicate about, the document and organization and selecting your members. So everyone after this will get each other's email to make sure that you're staying in contact with everyone.
Outstanding. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Hi, this is Leslie Footman. Are you willing to share the presenter's name that's invited to the December meeting? Because that's what the meeting we would present.
Yes, it is Sharif El
Mickey.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I forgot.
I was hoping you said that. I was hoping you said it was.
Yes, it is him.
Great.
I don't know if many individuals on the subcommittee knows about him, but I won't ruin it. I will say Google him, especially if you're in a teacher diversity topic work group, because he's doing phenomenal work in making strides in the city of Philadelphia. And a lot of the things that he's doing, I definitely want to mirror his efforts here in Delaware. And Ms. Footman, I remember you from Bayard. I knew your name looked familiar. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I do have a question. This is Jermaine Solomon. Will we have a copy of this actual presentation so that we can also reference it?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Representative Moore. I wanted to know, I know I don't have to, or our group doesn't have to present until November. However, I like to get a lot of data and I want to make sure I'm aware of the time frame that we have when we are presenting.
Your let me bring up mine. Let me exit out of here. Okay, so your school to prison pipeline. So you have, I believe, September, October. Your group goes in, actually it's November. Okay, because my is switched around. Okay, do you think that's ample time for you to gather your data that you need?
So I'll share my question another way. What, how long do we have to present? Is it an hour and 30 minutes? That's what I'm asking.
So so basically, I will say within 10 minutes. So if there is like prior documents you want us to share pre-hand with the subcommittee group, send them to us. And when Caitlin sends out the reminder email to the subcommittee group, we can provide them with the materials pre-hand. So that way everyone is coming to the meeting, the subcommittee meeting that day, already briefed on what you want them information. So that way it could cut back on some of the time that you have to speak. Only to make sure that one, I don't want to keep anybody past 8:30, and a lot of us are still teaching and have an extensive school day and trying to navigate, pandemic teaching. So I wanted to be mindful of that. So I really want to try to stick within our time frame and not go over. But if if more time is needed, we can plan for another meeting to continue to discuss that topic, if that makes sense. It's within the code for the operation of the subcommittee.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a follow-up question
Yes.
to that. So the 10 minutes would be for the presentation. Would the other hour and 40 minutes be discussion among the subcommittee members about it?
So 10 if there's at least 4 people in a topic group, that's 40 minutes of a presentation if everyone eats up their 10 minutes. Now you can, upon looking at your work document, if one of your group members is saying, I don't need all 10 of my minutes, you can have 5 of those minutes. You can pass your 5 minutes on to another person who, have a little more extensive research, depending on what avenue you're coming from. So you can share time that way. And then the rest of the time will be allocated for full discussion of the subcommittee, and then also yield to public comment as well.
I'm sorry, I'm sticking on that. So what I hear, it's a collective 40-minute presentation from the breakout, the work group. And the presentation will include data to level set the knowledge base of the issue, as well as our policy recommendation to address that issue.
Yes. Now, everybody may not be data driven. Everybody just may know that from my experience of X, Y, and Z, I think that this is needed. Now, as someone who always tell her students to support what you are saying, I know that everyone may not have the time to go diving. If you need help on data, please reach out to myself or Caitlin, because we do have an organization that has stepped up to support the subcommittee in this work, that we may be able to get you the data that you need to support your recommendation. Any other questions?
You have a question from the attendees.
All right. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and switch over to public comment.
Okay, I see that we have one person whose hand is raised. I'd also like to acknowledge that Representative Chukwucha has joined the meeting as an attendee. So certainly, Representative, if you'd like to make any comments, please raise your hand. But first we will go to, and I apologize, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this, Randy Harrison Dixon. I'm going to unmute you. You should be able to give your comment now.
Hi, yes. My name is Randy Harrison Dixon. I'm an art teacher, 21 years at Christina School District. and also a coordinating founder of the Delaware Educators for Justice and Change. I'd like to know if there'll be an opportunity for public or people who are not part of subcommittees to participate in any of the action items that you all come up with, or participate in the coordination of any of the ideas in any of the subcommittees.
So if there is a particular topic you are interested in, I would say make sure you come to the subcommittee, and during public comment, you can go ahead and present your ideas on how we should address it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, at this time, if anybody else would like to give a public comment, please use the raised hand feature. I'm not seeing any other raised hands. Certainly, if after the meeting, anybody wants to make a comment, they can email their comment to African American Task Force, all one word, at delaware.gov. And I will turn it back to you, Representative.
Thank you, Caitlin. All right. So this is one of the quickest meetings that I have done. Sometimes I wish PD goes as quick as this does. Okay, that's a joke. But if anyone had any last questions, comments, or concern, please raise your hand or come off mute.
I hate to do this when everybody was just about to roll out, Representative Moore, but I have one quick clarifying question. That 40 minutes, does that include an outside presenter?
No.
Okay, thank you.
So if time, okay, so I know we're stuck on like, I only get 10 minutes to, because I have a lot to say. I know you do. I just have to, unless y'all want to go to 9 o'clock and 9:30, let me know. Give me that feedback and I will consider that as well, okay? I picked Thursdays because Thursdays was my most flexible day to be a little longer than my other days when it comes to all that I have on my plate. So I also want to be considerate of others as well, because we all have important jobs to do and we all have to get up on a Friday, to finish out the week strong. So if we need more time, I will allow more time. I do not believe in cutting people off. I just want to make sure that, one, we are making sure that outside of the members of the work group, the work topics, that we are getting feedback from our other subcommittee members. So subcommittee members, if there is a topic that, even though you're not in that topic work group and you have some recommendation, please make sure you're coming prepared to the meeting to discuss your recommendation, even if it's outside of your working topic group, if that makes sense. Because we will have time allotted to discuss it and to also discuss and to expand on what the members of that topic group has brought to us for recommendations. We also want to give time for public comment and to also weigh in on the feedback and recommendations from the public as well. Because again, we all know that in education, it's moving parts to it, and we want to make sure that we are collaborating as we should to address these topic issues. I will make sure that everyone research is heard. So that's why I would say, just to make sure, mental check, make sure all your research is in. Because once Caitlin pulled the deck is pulled. All right. So make sure that if there are things that you want to be circulated to the subcommittee, please send it to Caitlin, CC me, or send it to me, and I will make sure Caitlin has it. And we can make sure that it gets to the subcommittee within time so everybody is prepared and briefed and are ready to go. All right. It's just the same thing we tell our students, right? We want you to come to class prepared so we can go ahead and hit the ground running. Any other questions? If there should be none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I have a second.
Second.
All right, thank you all, and you have a great night, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right.
Good
Take
night.
care.